What I did do last week was start work on the hatch here. I managed to strip it using my heat gun and wood scraper and do some sanding. And here is the forward hatch that I've also finished. I haven't done these bits here yet, but that's the main thing there. It doesn't have its rails on, so it slides very, very well. But you can certainly see how, again, similar thing where the top layer of plywood peeled back. It kind of looks okay. Kind of looks like the starburst pattern on a guitar. Looking pretty nice. The base for the hatch has only at this point been sealed, though it looks really, really good. Wait till I've got 7 coats of varnish on that. So all in all, looking pretty good. One of my winter projects here is the forward hatch, which needs a lot of work. You can see how the one side of the plywood there has lost a few layers, very, very stained. And there's a patch right there where the plywood has cracked and peeled and water's got underneath it, so the wood's all stained. The other side's equally bad. The white stuff is just paint that got in there from doing the decks. You can see my shoe prints there, not a big deal. And the sides aren't too bad, but they'll need stripping and redoing as well. The underside, not so bad, of course. It wasn't exposed to the sun so much, but these little bits here could certainly use refinishing, and the entire frame, the little handle there. So I probably won't do that part, but I'll do everything else. And we'll make another video at the end when it's all finished and looking beautiful. So this is the hatch, the forward hatch after sanding. In the end, there was a layer, the top layer of the plywood had worn right down all around the edges and there, which kind of looked messy, so I just took a belt sander to it and took the whole top layer off. There's a few areas here we need to do some bit of repair. This here is kind of loose, that needs gluing. Same with this side. In fact, all the corners need gluing. So I'll glue that, clamp it, let it dry, and all these gaps here I'm going to fill in with a plasticky, woody compound. And then sand some more. It's been sanded with 60 grit so far. I'll need to work that up to 80, 120, 180, 220, and then I can put the wood filler on, and finally the wood stain, and make something really beautiful out of this. How to get the glue in there? It's a very, very tight gap, so I'm going to take this little scraper here, thin scraper, which has some big blob of glue on the end there, and just kind of slide that in there and try and get some glue on it. It's just a matter of getting enough glue there that I can clamp it and bring it together, and then eventually we'll have 7 layers of varnish on there plus the sealer, which will completely seal it off. So we're not going for a perfect glue fix here, just enough glue to hold it in place while it's clamped until it dries, so I can get the other layers of stuff on it. And that's working pretty well. I think we got enough actual glue in there to do the required job. One more to do and more later. Here we are, glue applied and clamp holding it down. A very faint bead of glue did come out of the crack there, so we know there's actually from some glue in there from my previous attempt with that scraper. The clamps are only just big enough to actually fit on there. No space left over. Normally I'd put something else in there to protect the wood from the clamp, but it was almost exactly the right size, like a quarter millimeter to spare. So when it comes time to putting in the wood filler, I'll clamp a piece of wood like that and then just fill in the gap. Put an end piece on there as well. Fill in the hole. I'll only need to sand the top part, then the side will be fairly flush with the wood. Not that it matters, a sander will take care of all kinds of problems for you. Same on that one. The rest is just filling in the gaps there beside the bungs where there's a slight chip in the wood. I don't think I'll worry about this here. When the whole thing is the wood sealer I use kind of also stains it a darker color. It'll bring out the natural mahogany color anyway, and those stains won't be all that visible after 2 coatings of filler and 7 or 8 coatings of varnish. We'll see how it goes. Just wondering now if I should polish the little porthole here. It's already had some hits on it from the sander. Here is the finished hatch in place. I haven't done the base yet, that's that part down there, but you can see how pretty nice the rest of it's looking. So the corners have been glued down. I've filled in where there'd been chips out of the wood. And I was thinking originally I'd just go with a white paint finish because I knew it wouldn't look perfect, but I'm kind of liking how you can now tell its story. There are all of the defects in there on the corners where it's been fixed, even where the grain here is rather wide on the front. I think it looks pretty good. It looks like it's got some tales to tell. And yet it's fully functioning. 7 coats of varnish on the top there, completely sealed off from the elements. It's going to last 100 years if I keep up the varnish work. I even shined up the porthole there to make that nice. Looking pretty good. What's looking really ugly is the Samson post right there. That's something I'll be doing next summer. Strip and sand and varnish. That's my 3-word mantra. So here's where we're at, December the 11th, 2025. Things are coming together. You can see the rub rail, toe rail is done, the deck is done, ready for one more coat, which I'll do in the spring. The forward hatch we've discussed before. Going up the mast, still looking good. That had 7 coats of varnish just back in 2023, so that should last for a while. Coach house combing. This is a construction site, so there is stuff everywhere. And there's the view from the stern. The top of the rudder I stripped. It's going to need also some sanding, sealing and varnishing. That's how she looks from back here. I'm going to take some stuff off. I doubt I'll be going out anytime in the next 2 months. I'm going to remove my sleeping bag, pillow, the cushion, anything that can just get damp and sit there and get moldy. And that's about all we're going to do for today.